the last lecture for the day. It's my pleasure to introduce James Knight. He won't mind. It's a kind of like an easy finish to the day. It's to give you the whole patient journey. We've been talking about technical aspects, guidelines, but what about let's listen to a patient and their positive experience. James is an entrepreneur. He's in the top 1%. He worked for Dale Carnegie. He's been researching into communication, and he's come up with this concept of iMA. And I'm pleased to say he's a patient of mine, and he's very positive. I mean, he had a sudden collapse. He can tell you about himself at the age of 79.
And as I was sitting there listening to Dr. Doty give the statistics about who made it and who didn't make it, I couldn't help but count my blessings, because 1 year ago I was wheeled into Cromwell Hospital for an emergency angiogram. And as they put my heart up on the screen, I swear I could hear people say things like, "Oh, poor bugger," and there were some gasps. And I was told, "Unfortunately, Mr. Knight, your arteries are so shot, we don't even know how you made it here. You need a heart bypass, triple bypass, and you need it now." And they said, "Fortunately, we've got Mr. Moman here, and would you like to talk with him?" And I said, "Absolutely." And Mr. Moman told me that he could do my surgery on Saturday. This was Tuesday. Well, that began my journey to being here with you today. And I realize I'm going to be sharing with you a different perspective, because that's the perspective from a patient. When someone tells you that you need heart bypass surgery, something happens inside you. You may try to stay positive, you might try to stay rational, and you might try to stay strong. But underneath it all, you've got a question, a deeper question, and that is, am I safe? Not just safe medically. Do I feel safe with these people? Do I trust their hands? Do I trust their words? Do I feel seen? Do I feel understood? And that's what I'm going to talk with you about today. Because outstanding surgery is only part of the patient experience. The other part of the experience is how you make the patient feel even before the surgery begins. And that's more important than many people realize. What I would like to talk with you about today is something that is a simple idea, but it's shaped my life's work. It's called iMA, and iMA is a practical way of understanding that different people want, need, and expect to be treated differently. Not because one way is right and another is wrong, but because people do not experience safety in the same way. And that is especially important in medicine, and especially important in heart surgery. So I'd like to, if I can, maybe, these are the questions. The idea behind iMA is this, that within each of us, we have a different way of feeling safe. Some patients feel safe when the surgeon is brief, strong, and decisive. Some patients feel safe when he's or she is calm, kind, and reassuring. Some patients feel safe when you're warm, encouraging, and upbeat. And some patients feel safe when you're detailed, practical, and logical. Same hospital, same operation, same surgeon, but not the same emotional need. And that's where iMA can help. I have spent a good portion of my career researching, testing, applying, and teaching this universal color-based language, which is called iMA. And I'd like to start by looking at the fact that even though every person is as unique as their thumbprint, each of us has a systematic framework or comfort zone where we feel the most comfortable most of the time. And although there are some 8 billion plus people on the planet, there are not 8 billion comfort zones. There are only 4. And that is their iMA high color. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, in order for me to do that, I would like to just ask, first of all, do you all recognize the fact that you have a comfort zone? And how do you feel when you're inside your comfort zone? Relaxed, self-assured, confident? And how about when you're outside your comfort zone? Uneasy. We're told by psychologists we go through 4 emotions every day of our lives. We're either glad, sad, mad, or scared. And when we're inside our comfort zone, of course, we're glad, but when we're outside, we're mad, sad, and scared. And of course, laying there, being diagnosed as needing triple bypass is very much outside your comfort zone, and it would be for everyone. Now, in order to understand how iMA works, if we can look to science first of all, and science teaches us that when you combine elements, that it creates something unique. It's called combination reaction. An example of combination reaction is when you combine 2 gases, hydrogen and oxygen, and you put them together, even though they're gases, and it forms a liquid. Other examples of combination reaction is in your line of work, the combination of medicines, even though when you put those together, it's called combination therapy, I believe, or polytherapy, where you put those 2 combinations of medicines together to treat one condition. Combination reactions exist all over, not just in the lab. As an example, you had lunch today, and I was told that it was a very, very nice lunch, and that was simply a question of combining certain elements to create that lunch. We're communicating right now through 26 letters of the alphabet that are formed together to form what I'm told is 170,000 words with the Oxford Dictionary. Now, combination reaction is something as to how I would like to explain how iMA works. And I'd like to say, first of all, that there are 2 elements within iMA. One is whether a person is left brain thinking or right brain thinking. A person that is right brain thinking deals with dreams and visions and concepts. A person with left brain thinking deals with facts, logic, and data. We are in the habit of operating through one or the other. It's not to say we don't have both, but we have a pattern, program, predictable way of thinking, making decisions, using time in a pattern, program, predictable way. So one element within iMA is to whether a person is right brain thinking or left brain thinking. Right brain thinking people are very open. They wear their heart on their sleeve. You can read them like a book. Left brain thinking people like to keep more of a mental and physical distance. The second element within iMA is the pace with which people like to operate and feel comfortable. Some people approach risk, change, and make decisions very fast. Others like to take a slower, more roundabout approach. With those 2 elements of observable behavior, that is, the things that people do, we have the comfort zone of every person on the planet. There are two elements, four possible combinations, and that forms the comfort zone, as I say, of every person. Now, let's take, first of all, a person that is right brain thinking, dealing with dreams and visions and concepts, and they feel most comfortable approaching risk change and making decisions more slowly. They take more of a roundabout approach. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a quick sip of water here because my mouth's getting a little dry. Okay, thank you. People that are right brain thinking, dealing with dreams, visions, and concepts, and like to take a slower, more relaxed approach to things are high blues. High blues are pleasant, cooperative, people. They love people. They ooze empathy. If you tell them something sad, they'll cry with you. If you tell them something happy, they'll be genuinely happy with you and for you. Now, can I ask, does that describe someone that you know by any chance? And the reason I say that is because 25% of the world's population are high blues. When I was in Cromwell Hospital, I met so many high blues that, because jobs have colors just like people, I met a lot of high blues within nursing, as an example. Now, with high blues, inside their comfort zone, as I mentioned, they like to operate at a slower, more relaxed pace. They are pleasant, cooperative, people, love people, ooze empathy. Within the comfort zone of a high blue, they need friendship. They want to be liked. They want you to be pleasant and to maintain relationships. As a patient, high blues want kindness. They want calm. They want reassurance. They need to feel cared for. They need emotional safety as well as medical safety. People that are left brain thinking, dealing with facts, logic, and data, and feeling more comfortable operating at a slower, more methodical pace are high greens. High greens are more serious, analytical, perfectionistic. They love logic, adore accuracy, cherish efficiency. They want to be correct. They want you to be precise. That's inside their comfort zone. And when it comes to high greens and high green patients, high greens want structure. They want detail. They want logic. They need process. They need careful explanation. They need to know that everything has been very thoroughly thought through. So those are your high greens. People that are left brain thinking, dealing with facts, logic, and data, and at the same time like to operate at a fast pace, fast and assertive, approaching risk change and making decisions very quickly. These are high reds. High reds are great administrators, delegators, doers. They can move mountains. People are in awe of their ability to figure out what needs to be done and do it. Now that's high reds on the outside, but when they are patients, high reds want confidence. They want clarity. They want control. They want bottom line. They want a clear plan, decisive leadership. So these are the things that are important to high reds when you have high red patients. People that are right brain thinking, dealing with dreams, visions, and concepts, and feel most comfortable operating at a faster, spontaneous pace are high yellows. High yellows are outgoing, enthusiastic people, thrive on being where the action is, long on ideas and short on follow through sometimes because they get so many ideas coming through all of the time. So with high yellows want to be admired. They want you to be stimulating and to maintain status. For high yellows as patients, they want warmth, hope, encouragement. They want the human connection, positive energy. They want to be seen as a person and not just as a procedure. Now, these are within all of these, within the area, within a hospital, you've got a collection of high reds, yellows, greens, and blues, all interacting. You have high reds, yellow, greens, and blues on the medical team. You also have them as patients. So what my message to you here today is that the technical excellence and the brilliance in technical is a vitally important part of everything that you're doing. But the other part is connecting with people as human beings. I was talking with Madison, one of the, for the pharmaceutical. Yes, and she was saying that St. Bart's, as an example, has a program going on about helping patients feel more safe and more comfortable by understanding more. We are the most confident about the things we know the most about. And so that being the case, it's helping people knowing what to expect. Now that on a technical side is very, very important, but also as important is the human connection. That's what happened with me, and that's why I'm standing here right now, is because I had a human connection with so many wonderful people in my experience there at Cromwell Hospital, starting with Aziz, who has become a great family friend of ours amongst everything else. After the surgery, which was only a couple days later, I told him I love him. Absolutely, saved my life. Now, how could you not love somebody like that? And this is the important connection that you have with your patients. And it is something that I would encourage you to learn more about, and that is the human side, the human connection. So just to let you know, people would like to know, what does iMA stand for? The I in iMA is identify. Identify the iMA color of the person that you're dealing with. People tell you what color they are based on how they look, what they say, how they say it, what they do, and how they do it. Then modify the message by encoding it in a way that's most likely to be understood. And so as an example, if you are talking and you identify a patient as a high blue, then show warmth, caring, show interest in them. It's vitally, vitally important. But if you do have a high green patient, they want the facts, they want understanding, they want the knowledge behind it in order to feel comfortable. Now, with iMA, the great part about it is it's not asking you to do anything that in addition to what you're currently doing. You're not being asked to become a psychologist, as an example. And my daughter has joined us here today, who is a doctor of clinical psychology. You don't have to be a psychologist. You don't have to add anything to what you're currently doing. All you have to do is be more observant and look at what people are saying to you that they need, and then give them what they need. And then if you use iMA to connect with them, trust will rise, fear will settle, communication will improve, and you will also gain the confidence and connection with the families, which is so very important. So I'd like to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Now, I will say iMA is simple, but it goes deep. It's got universal applications, and it's got a global reach to it. I created iMA, and somebody asked me, when did you create iMA? The idea came to me when I worked for the Dale Carnegie organization, and that was 50 years ago. And I've spent the last decades researching, testing, applying, and teaching this universal color-based language. It would be great if you identified which of the 4 iMA dialects you speak. And in order to do that, all you have to do is answer 10 simple questions. And if you go to London Core Review, but just the initials, LCR-IMA, it will identify which of the 4 dialects that you speak that you share with over 2 billion people on the planet. Now, because of the depth with which I've prepared a packet for each of you as to how to help your patients feel safe, identifying from both a surgeon's point of view, a patient's point of view. Elaine, Christina, how would it be the best for me to make sure everybody gets one? Okay, we'll put them at the table as we conclude and as you're leaving. And if you have any questions about it, but one thing I will honestly and promise and assure you that it will help make your life easier, happier, richer, and fuller by not only identifying other people's iMA color, but also your own. Thank you very much.